Hey everybody, this is Steve.
And this is Parnell.
And this is Flippin' and Mashing. Welcome back, everybody.
We are bad.
Well, we've been gone for a little bit, but we've been doing stuff. We've been at CES. We've been doing a lot of stuff for work. I know. We're neglecting you guys, but we're here now.
We have this episode's going to be huge. We are probably one of the only podcasts I think
we're the only podcast.
Played the Munsters.
Mm-hmm.
We've also played a couple one-up arcade cabinets that aren't released yet.
Right.
So we have a lot of news and reviews to talk about.
Exactly. So we've been gone for a while, but we got some great content for you guys today. So we, again, like you said, we're the only people I think right now podcasting about the Munsters. We're the only people who have played the new one-up arcade games that have come out.
I'm way too excited to make this episode.
A new tabletop. That didn't exist beforehand.
Yep, the cocktail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's just get right into it then. CES.
Okay, so we're going to do a trip report.
Sure.
So this will be kind of breaking down our trip, things we did, played, and then I think we'll just kind of hold off on the Munsters until toward the end.
Yeah.
So that it's its own big segment.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. For starters, we are going on an airplane trip. We're doing all this different stuff. Obviously, we packed stuff with us. What'd you bring game-wise?
I brought my Switch.
Same.
Before I left, I just had bought Aquamotor Racing Utopia.
Right.
And it really is not that great of a game.
I tested it. I personally dislike it, but go on.
So I brought it.
Sure. And you never played it, obviously.
No.
No.
But when I booted my Switch up to make sure like updates were done and any game updates, I remember hearing that Retro City Rampage was on sale for $9.99.
Oh, yeah.
Retro City Rampage is kind of like a throwback like Grand Theft Auto 1 or 2. So it's the top-down, kind of 16-bit look.
Okay.
And
wait, but is it related to Rampage? What is it?
No.
It's not. What is it?
It's its own little game.
But I'm saying, like, what is it? Like, is it like a Grand Theft Auto where you like drive steel cars and stuff like that?
Totally.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a story, or you can play free mode where you just run around, do whatever you want, steal cars, kill people,
sure,
collect things.
And how much was it again?
It was $9.99.
Okay.
This is kind of, I don't know if it's a prequel, but the same company that made it is now going to release Hawaii Shakedown, which looks like a really good version of a top-down open-world game.
Okay.
Way better graphics, a lot more to do. I think you can drive boats and all sorts of crap. Cool. Retro City's kind of you're in a city, more like New York or something. Pretty much just like Grand Theft Auto 1.
Gotcha. And this Hawaii one, this is a new game, right?
New game. It's been delayed for frickin' ever, maybe a year.
So it's supposed to look retro. It's indie, obviously.
The Hawaii Shakedown?
Yeah.
It looks new.
Oh, it does look okay.
It's not like. Sorry. It's not like.
I was thinking the way you were describing the other one, that this one was also like a 16-bit.
No.
Gotcha.
It's better than that.
Gotcha.
Retro City was supposed to be like this though, and the funny part is they make a lot of callbacks to like old movies and games, so it has like a cool nostalgia factor of, like they poke fun at all this other stuff.
Okay, cool.
So I loaded that up. I bought that, loaded it up.
Did you play it at all?
I did. I played it on the plane.
That's good. Good. Well, what else did you play? Anything else? Or you probably just watched a lot of videos, movies.
I just watched a ton of movies because when I got on the plane, I'm not old, but I get motion sickness like nobody's business now. Mm-hmm. So when the plane is pretty smooth, I can play no problem. Mm-hmm. The hard part I have though is like even the Switch after a while, just because where you put your elbows on the armrest and stuff, it's just uncomfortable as hell to play. The best way to play your Switch on a plane is to put your tabletop up, undo your little Joy-Cons, and then play with it sitting there.
I understand what you're saying, and I would agree with you. I just was too worried that we'd hit turbulence and this thing would just go flying. So, but I agree with you. Otherwise, your neck is craned the whole entire time, just looking straight down at your lap. Yeah.
So here's the other problem. When you undock your little Joy-Cons, you can't have airplane mode on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I didn't do that. I held it in handheld the whole entire time.
Annoying. Very annoying.
I hear you. But I guess the only thing that I had I guess, irritating was just me looking straight down for like hours.
And your neck hurts.
Yeah.
Because what's that? It's like a 4-hour flight.
Well, yeah.
From Minneapolis to Vegas.
Plus, I had a mini flight beforehand as well.
Oh, yeah.
Heading from Duluth to the Twin Cities. So I had 2 flights. Did you play any other games?
No.
Okay.
I watched...
Now, you brought a Razer phone. Did you
Yeah.
put any games on that?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
I love how you think I actually do stuff.
I don't know. So
hang on.
Go ahead.
We did it again. We forgot to crack our drink.
I've been staring at this can. I want to drink it really bad.
That's what makes us unique. And we haven't done it. We've been so bad the last couple episodes.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get us some special drinks just for this episode, and I'm a day off. I ordered some drinks. They'll be here tomorrow. But
so we'll have the same for the next.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we should do soon.
Right.
I'm actually going to Chris's house this weekend.
Excellent. So you should definitely talk about that next week as well, or whenever.
We should probably do like a remote.
That's
if you get any time this weekend, we can.
That's even cooler. Yeah, we should do that. All right, let's crack these open. We got ourselves some Mountain Dew. I got the craft beer ones. I got.
They're not craft beer.
Sorry.
Jesus. Your Taco Bell Cantina is just like screwed you up because not only can you get Taco Bell,
you can get shots of. Oh yeah, that's another thing we did at CES.
The liquor, Mountain Dews, and you get a DJ, and that's all you've been having on your mind.
No. So, anyways, this Mountain Dew, I have the black label, and you got what, the white label?
I got
one?
the white label.
Yeah.
It's tropical citrus.
Mine's crafted blackberry. Oh, it's fucking good.
Mine has almost 100 less calories than yours.
Why?
Well, you'll have to ask Mountain Dew.
I guess. Anyways, I brought my Nintendo Switch and my Razer phone. I loaded up both. Well, I didn't load up the Nintendo Switch. I already had games for the Nintendo Switch. But I loaded up the Razer with a bunch of games, trying to figure out which ones would be good, and I was going to test them on the way down there. And due to your recommendations, I bought Riptide. The
Renegade, the new one.
Yes, yeah.
Which is
the jet ski game, and it's arcadey. It feels really good. It's got good music. I enjoyed it a lot. I had a fun time with it.
That company, God, what is their name? They made Hydro Thunder, Hurricane. I'm obsessed with them.
I forget their name.
I wrote one of my messages, like my emails to them. They put on their website.
Oh, really? Vector
Unit.
Yeah.
They have one of the best, because the two guys did Bloodwake for Xbox. They have some of the best water physics engine, which is why they were brought on to do Hydro Thunder.
They make very fun, arcadey feeling games. They do a good job.
I want to protest to have them bring another Hydro Thunder. I want Microsoft to bring another Hydro Thunder out.
Well, they should. It's easy money for them. I don't understand why they don't, to be honest. What are they working on right now?
I don't know. Losing the console war?
Well, they just need to focus on just pumping out good, fun, arcadey games. Or just make arcade games. Actual arcade, like consoles.
Hey.
Not consoles, what do you call them?
No, they just released the Halo game. Dude, Microsoft...
Vector 1 made the Halo game?
No. But I'm saying, Microsoft just let the Halo license be used in an arcade. They should just let licenses come out like to Raw Thrills and just let some of these good licenses be made into arcade.
Right. Speaking of which...
Okay.
Anyways,
come on, Steve.
So also, I played a lot of... I pretty much stayed...
So how'd you like...
On the way down, I was almost 100% exclusively on my Razer phone. I barely took out the Switch at all. On the way back...
Because it hurt your elbows?
No, I just was lazy.
So how'd you like the Riptide?
It was good. It was a fun time.
Did you beat it?
I enjoyed it. I couldn't play... No, I didn't beat it. It's like 100 hours worth of content there. There's a lot of stuff.
We were supposed to look to see how far you got versus me, because I wanted to see if you're stuck where I got stuck.
No, I did not make it. No, I was flicking back and forth between a lot of games and movies, videos, and stuff like that. I was too ADHD to continue to stay on one thing the whole entire time, because I would get bored. Like I'd play Riptide for a while, for maybe like half hour or something like that, and then because I think it's just because I'm sitting there confined, looking down the whole entire time. Yeah, I wanted just to keep switching to other stuff. So I played that.
I think the hard part is the flight from Minneapolis to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It's only economy or first class. There's no real business class on those planes. And usually that's what we fly, because it's like a good compromise of more room, it's comfortable, but it doesn't cost as much as first.
Right.
But they don't have business class on the Delta flights.
No, they do not.
So we had Comfort Plus, which is literally 5% more seat recline. Maybe it's 7. Free drinks, but you're in economy.
But the drinks that are free is like water.
What? I got liquor.
You what?
Yeah. You didn't know this?
I did not.
I ordered it, and one of my coworkers next to me was like freaking out that she was pulling out cash. I'm like, it's all good, girl.
Really? No, I did not know this at all. I would have been ordering other stuff. Like they would come down with
we
waters and
we
stuff.
get free
I
food
took
and
one
snack.
water. That was about it.
I'm sorry, drinks and snack are free on Comfort Plus. But my whole point was you're pinned in 3 people wide, and so your shoulders are scrunched, and it's just super uncomfortable.
Right.
To do much.
Well, I was always aisle seat, so I didn't have that much of a problem.
I always get
because if all was
shafted
filled,
in
I
the
could
middle.
just lean into the aisle. Not who cares.
I
Stretch my one leg out, nice and good too.
Right. Yeah. Just trip people.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. So the hard part was Delta's TV system has actually been pretty good recently.
Yes. They have a lot of good stuff on there.
So I got to watch, and I have not seen the first Ant-Man, but I got to see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And it's good.
The movie?
Yeah, did you watch it?
I did. It's
Yeah.
entertaining. I enjoyed it.
I'll tell you what. I had also not seen it. I was in a bar the other day, and it was on, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is a kind of a cool movie." Because I'd never gave it a chance, and then I was sitting there.
I don't know why you like it, because you like your superheroes serious. This is an unserious movie.
Good point. But maybe it was also because I didn't pay for it, and I was sitting in a bar, and it didn't really matter. Well, how about this? I had very low expectations for it. I thought it was going to be garbage because of everything you just said. And then I watched it, and I thought, this is really fun. They do some really cool, badass stuff.
The ending was a cliffhanger. Holy guacamole.
I never made it that far, to be honest.
You should have watched it on the plane then. It is a really good movie, but it's not serious. And that's okay, because it's really good entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
supposed to be
it's a superhero movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you went into it with your thought of this superhero has to be serious, you're going to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What else did I watch? I don't remember what I watched on the way down. It was... Oh, I started watching Bob's Burgers or something.
Sure.
I was just trying to kill time.
Yeah, I downloaded a lot of content. I downloaded, like,
So what other
Vikings.
games did you play?
Oh. Now,
Super Mario Run?
No. I had to realize that everything needs to be offline if you're going to be up in the air. So most of the games that I play are all online.
Yeah.
So, like, I couldn't play Legends. Shadowgun Legends. I couldn't play the Marvel Champions, like, fighting game and stuff like that. All that stuff that I normally play is all...
Because it hooks up with your Snapchat, and so you like to do your little Snapchat link.
Just... No. But I played a lot of Marvel's Telltale game, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, and the Telltale games, I think Telltale's done.
Yes,
they went out.
They're finished. I think they're
It's kind of like a choose your own adventure, or it's just kind of like a story, right?
Yeah, it's a story. It is kind of choose your own adventure, but very you're going down one path, but you get to kind of, I guess, make people feel good about you.
It's almost like an animated cartoon.
Yes,
You
are watching a movie when you play that game. Yeah. It's very little game. And that's what I wanted to actually almost discuss on this show was these Telltale games to me, I don't know if you can even classify them as a game. Like, especially now that Netflix has choose your own adventure movies and stuff like that.
Oh my God, I just learned about one and I was like, what are you talking about? And so I want to go try it. I don't remember what it was, but
so now that they have movie content, video content that's choose your own adventure, that's what I would base these Telltale games as. They're not, I don't want to crap. I'm not crapping on them. I think that there's great content. I just don't know if you can even call it a game.
To me, when they first released, I remember playing or like watching the first one for Walking Dead because I was really big into The Walking Dead when it came out. And I remember it was like, this is like a animated comic book.
Yeah.
which was fine. I liked it.
No, it's
like,
good.
Because like back then, or when you get obsessed with something, you can't get enough of it.
Uh-huh.
You just want to soak in, like, so everything Walking Dead.
Right.
So I was trying to get the comics, the TV show, this game. Like, I couldn't get enough Walking Dead. So
Sure.
I can totally see it being a really good time killer.
I think that these maybe, one is, like you said, it is a good time killer, but maybe this is for non-gamers. People who aren't really interested in gamers. For one, these are free on Android and iOS.
Well, I don't know if they released free.
They are free currently.
Well, it's because the company doesn't exist.
Right. Well, you can buy expansions to them.
Maybe that's what they did.
So yeah, so let's say it's like a 5-chapter like story, whatever. They'll give you the whole first chapter for free, and I think it has a conclusion. Maybe it has a cliffhanger. I don't know. I didn't make it all the way to the end, but either way, you get that whole first chunk, which is a lot of content. Because I played it for a good chunk of my flight, and I never made it to the end, which is several hours. But I liked it a lot. It's really fun, and I think somebody who's maybe not a gamer, this would be a great game for you, because it's basically watching a cutscene the whole entire time.
Yeah, which on some epic games like Metal Gear Solid, I literally could watch someone play it and be completely happy because it's like a movie. It's its own
definitely
movie like that.
I beat Starlink finally while on the flight back, and it was good. I love that game. I'm really happy I bought that game.
It's funny that, because you bought it thinking and playing it like you were Star Fox only.
Yes.
And so you're happy with that as a Star Fox game.
Yes.
Sweet.
I wish I had another Star Fox game to play, to be honest. And we do technically have one here in the office that I want to, at some point, try out. But playing the whole game through as Star Fox, and with him being in the vast majority of all the cutscenes, it really felt like I was playing. If it wasn't a Star Fox game, it was a heavily influenced Star Fox game, is what it felt like to me. And plus he has this, like I said, I think many times on this podcast before, he has this huge story all devoted just to him. So if you had like an Xbox, it wouldn't be as fun to me, because all you'd have is just the Starlink. You wouldn't have any Star Fox in it at all. It would suck. And
they had discounted that game recently, or maybe around Christmas, for the physical version.
Sure.
So I had almost thought about picking it up to play it later, but you know how when you buy stuff to play later, you just never play it.
And this last weekend, they had a bunch of free content on there, like free ships and stuff to try out. So I didn't buy any, but I played with new weapons and stuff like that and had a good time with that. But it was a fun free weekend with the stuff. I played with the new toys, but I didn't buy anything.
After playing, would you go buy any of those upgrade packs? I think you said they're $5 at Best Buy.
I don't know. See, I beat it now.
Yeah, but like you said, once you beat it, you can still go back.
You can do tons of stuff, right? Well, that was another thing. So I beat it, and there were still many planets that were still like controlled by, I don't know, I forget what they call themselves. They're not the Empire, but essentially that.
The bad guys,
right? They're controlled by by this entity, and I'm trying to think. Oh, well, I didn't save the galaxy. I destroyed these people over here, but there's still a lot of the galaxy which is like under their control. Like, what am I going to do? Is it just over now? But then, no, it's not over. They go into like another like mini cutscene because they must assume that a lot of you have not finished the rest of the game. So to continue to have you push to save the rest, to complete, if you will, the rest of the game, they have a cutscene which does a good job of pushing you right back into the world, which is good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's cool, because then you can go back and kind of screw around, but you don't lose your entire progress.
Yeah. I don't know. It's such a fun game to me that I probably will play it quite a bit more. I don't know if I'm going to buy more stuff for it. That's the thing. When I first got into it, I wanted to buy everything.
Yeah,
and now I'm glad I didn't, because now that it's I got the story all completed and I can still play a lot, it's not as valuable to me to own all this extra stuff.
Well, that's I have this problem too, is like when it's new and shiny, you just want everything right away. And the good thing is that you need to sleep on it, wait to see if you do actually need or want a bunch of it, because in reality, you don't, probably.
It's fun. It's cool. They're cool little collectibles.
You have the physical game, right?
Correct.
Ooh, I could play it.
Yeah, I can give you the disc. Not the disc, whatever it's called.
Oh, easy, Steve. We've upgraded the little SD card looking things.
Yeah. What are they called? They're just cards?
Like cartridges.
Cartridge, that's what it's called. Yeah. I think I played some other games as well, but those were the main ones. I beat Starlink, and I played a lot of...
That's crazy, you beat it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's move on.
So, we get to Vegas. We get to the booth. I touched down, and I ran to the booth. I wanted to make sure that our booth was being set up, and I was kind of like, not the booth manager, but I definitely was the one.
And by the way, for those who are listening, this is not like flipping and mashing's booth. This is we work
didn't
for,
have a booth.
we work for a tech company, so our business was down there. So we were setting up that booth, not our.
I should have clarified that.
Yeah, just so people don't understand. Like,
we're
flipping
huge.
and mashing had a presence there, I guess technically.
We're worldwide.
Yeah, but
we were meaning to like do any live streaming. We were gonna record.
We did some live streaming.
Oh, video, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
But go on.
I wanted to go to a couple like the Pinball Hall of Fame and New York's Arcade, and kind of then sit down with you and do a recording at night sometime to kind of catch up things. But it was a very chaotic week.
It was far busier than I expected.
Oh,
because
totally.
We had a lot of plans of what we were going to do, and it turned into just kind of running with your head chopped off.
So Saturday I got in the afternoon. You came in Sunday.
Yeah.
So I ran to the booth on Saturday afternoon, kind of evening, and of course I had to go by Stern's booth. They didn't have the games up yet. When I first went by, they had nothing up. They're just their tower, which looks like a mushroom with like a ramp and a ball up top.
Well, it's a big popper.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Looks like a mushroom.
Well, it looks like a mushroom because it's so tall. Like, there's no popper on the planet that's that tall. Usually, poppers are nice and short.
I love that you call them poppers.
Which is all it is. It's just the popper head, essentially.
And then I swung by Arcade 1-Ups because it was in the same building. And I saw they were setting up all their games. And they literally just were unboxing, like, retail games and setting them up. So I saw all their new games. And I made a post on Reddit, and I didn't leak any info to the public because I wanted to respect the company's privacy.
Yeah, you had a lot of inner debate with yourself of how much content you wanted to post to the internet, or be the first guy to post or something like that.
But I posted up on Reddit about Arcade 1-Up, and I was like, you guys are in for a surprise, because there was a handful of games that no one expected. The rumors about Mortal Kombat were... Well, it was true that it was coming, but they didn't have the right game list. Like, the actual cabinet is 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Well, 3 Ultimate, whatever you want to call it. But the rumors on the internet were 2, 3, 4, which doesn't actually make sense. So I don't know where that came from.
Sure.
But like out of nowhere, they had Golden Tee, and they had Karate Champ with Burger Time and stuff on it. And so there.
What was that street fighting game that they had?
Street Fighter?
No. It was called like Final Fight or something.
Oh, Final Fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That actually I think was my favorite game there.
Final
I've
Fight?
never heard of Final Fight before.
Oh, so if you know Streets of Rage, Final Fight is like the precursor to that.
Oh, is it?
It's that same style.
I knew it was the same style. I didn't know it was a precursor. I thought it was like a knockoff or something.
Oh, yeah, no.
But it was a good game.
Love those games. They had the cocktail there, and then
the cocktail table. So like, what game was on it?
It was
Mortal Kombat.
It was Street Fighter, but they have like 12 or 20 games on it. But a lot of the cabinets that were multi-game, they kind of had disabled to only one game. So like Karate Champ only played Karate Champ.
Do you think it's disabled?
It was disabled for the show because a lot of them, like Golden Tee and stuff, weren't. They were waiting licensor approval.
Oh.
And they're like Mortal Kombat isn't shipping until like June.
Sure.
So like there's a lot of unknowns that they're now like locking in so that at the show you only get to play the one game.
But I thought the little cocktail table was the coolest thing that was there because we had all seen what the arcade machines look like. Of course, they look like a tiny arcade machine. But to actually have the little tiny table, like, this is really cool. I want to put this in my son's like toy room, whatever, and we can sit here and play this game.
And it is literally a 3/4 cocktail. So
yeah,
like
it is tiny.
You need to sit down, and I don't know if they had wheels on it, but it definitely wiggled when you got really into it.
It might have had wheels on it.
And I think it's plexi on top, so it might scratch up. But again, it's a toy. It's not a real arcade unit.
Correct. It's not like the fancy Pong games.
Yeah, so then it's not real, like Atari didn't bring it out, but there's a company that makes these new versions of Atari's Pong.
And they are incredible.
And they have a new bar top version that can go up and down.
They have like a lounge version.
And then they have the seated one, and then they have the home unit.
And what's so cool, for those who are listening, like Pong, why are we even talking about Pong? What's so cool about this is, one, it's all RBG lit. Like, it looks fancy. It looks
everywhere.
cool.
The cabinet's
It looks
lit,
sturdy. It
the
looks strong. And then the actual Pong game itself is not digital. It's in 3D. So you have like an actual, what are they made out of? Plastic, maybe?
Yeah, they're probably plastic.
So you have like a square plastic Pong ball flying back and forth, and then you have like your borders that, what do you call them? Like
they're paddles.
Well, like the bars, I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're I mean, they're kind of like a paddle to push it back.
Sure. But those are also in 3D, so they're risen up. And like, I don't know if they're on magnets or what they're on.
I don't know if it's a magnet, but there's definitely mechanics underneath the playfield that bring the ball back and forth, and your paddle moves, and it's all mechanized.
It's very fancy looking. It's very cool. Everyone who played them loved them. Stern, we were talking to Stern. They were right next to them, and they were also kind of raving about them. They thought they were so cool.
The route we have with the bar, he has a second bar, and I totally think he should.
He should totally, honestly,
the bar top game. He should get.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him some links to it. He's kind of tight with his wallet, but at the same time, this is a cool thing that when somebody sees it, or let's say another bar in town puts this in there, it's going to be a big deal because people love it.
And the bar top one is super cool. So it has built-in cup holders on each corner. It almost looks like a bubble hockey base, but it can go down, it can go up, so that you can change the height. So you can be standing, you can bring it down and be sitting. It has coin mechs and bill acceptors and all that. And then I was talking to the guy, I don't think you were there, and because I kind of said, hey, do you guys have another game in mind? Because I think me and you were talking, it's like they in theory could make so many retro games in the 3D mechanized space. And he said, yes, there's another game they're being worked on, and there also are updates to new Pong versions. So they're not done with Pong yet.
Well, you want to probably milk that out as much as you can. And they are, because they keep coming out with like different types of tables.
But dude, the hard part is, the home unit came out on Kickstarter, and there's people that Kickstarted it and still haven't gotten their table yet.
Really?
And so, even on my pinball forum on Pinside, there's people saying, this is great, but I still haven't gotten my table. So I'm like, they're still pissed, and it's like, it is pretty shitty.
Very interesting. So they're not releasing to other people, are they?
Yeah, you can buy these.
So I can go online right now, buy it, and the person who kickstarted it still won't get theirs.
Yep.
Very interesting. I thought when you first said it, like they're really slow with production, but you're saying they're just skipping people.
The company is. I guess
That's
the hard part is, because there's technicalities to this. Distributors, they use a distribution network similar to Stern. There are distributors with units that you could buy and get one today. So it's not the distributor that needs to get it to the Kickstarter. It's the main company. The parent company needs to ship it right to the Kickstarter.
That's so strange.
Which super sucks. And the hard part is I know the price the Kickstarter people paid was a lot lower than what they are to make. Kind of like a hindsight, like,
oh,
they produced them, all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, it's going to cost more than
what
the
we
$2,500 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they're kind of trying to sell to the public so they can generate money to pay for those.
That could be.
Kickstarter.
That could be what the plan is.
I'm not too sure how good their communication is to the Kickstarter backers on getting them info, or maybe they're shipping them slow.
Yeah, that's one thing that we've personally learned, is that you have to communicate with your Kickstarters.
Yeah, even if it's bad news,
they just want to know what's going on.
Because silence is deadly.
Yes, it is.
All
right.
So I went.
Yeah, go ahead.
Got the booth, and every day, so like Monday through Friday, I would take the long way to our booth. I'd go through Stern and Arcade One Up every day, there and back. So I'd play Munsters multiple times a day.
Yeah, we played a lot of pinball while we were there. A lot more than I expected to play.
So then you show up, and I don't know. I think Monday, me, you, and a coworker went to New York.
Yes.
I didn't. We like took the monorail down at MGM, then had to walk through MGM, then across the street. It was like a big...
As a side note, I think the monorail is pretty cool.
It's super handy.
Yeah. When it's not packed. Oh my God. Which it usually isn't packed. And like for all the days that it wasn't convention day, it was absolutely fine. As soon as convention day hit, I was like, oh my God, what is going on?
It was like a Japanese train.
It was insane.
It was packed. It was not. There was police yelling at you to push in.
Yep. Move it! It was crazy. But and then not only that, it's like, well, fine. Well, I'm just not even going to take this. I'm going to take a Uber or something. That's even worse. That was way worse. The streets were clogged to hell. I mean, this was the best option, and it was painful. But whatever.
So Monday we went to New York Arcade.
Yes.
So big travel time, but then we get there,
and
finding the arcade is another pain in the ass.
Right.
This signage is like mediocre at best.
There's no way you would find it.
No.
There's no way. We just had to just guess. I think it's over here.
So we get up there, and you walk in, and it's just Redemption, and you kind of have this like falling pit in your stomach of, you gotta be kidding.
I was very disappointed when I first walked in there because all I saw was Redemption games, and for those like Chris who like Redemption games, this was probably a heaven for them. But I thought this is just a kid casino inside of a casino. Mm-hmm. This is stupid. This is exactly what they did. They sucker punched me, telling me that they got an arcade up here, and they just want money, and that's even worse because now I'm not even getting money. Like if I win, I'm just gonna get like a stuffed animal or something. But go on.
And so we kind of hesitantly walked in.
Yeah, we just kept going. Yeah.
But then there was another room, and it had arcade games.
A much larger room.
And then there was another room you walk through, and there's more arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, at the end of that room, you see this row of pinball.
Yeah. A large row of pinball.
And there's probably about 10 to 12 games.
Yeah, a lot more than I expected.
Pretty much all new Stearns.
Mm-hmm. Great games.
But we walk around the corner of the second room, and what did you say, Steve? And this is packed with families.
Yeah, packed with families, lots of little kids all over the place. We round the corner, and I see the big, huge 4-player Halo game, and I scream, "Fuck!" so loud, because I couldn't believe that it was here. It just flew out of my mouth, and as soon as it came out, and as soon as I came down from my like little high of, "Holy shit!" I looked around, and everyone's heads were staring at me, and I was like, "Oh, God damn it, Steve. You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot." God, But anyways.
We were so excited to see that game.
I was jacked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is here. This is now. We're playing this for the rest of the day.
The hard part was, it was full.
Yeah, people wanted to play it. It wasn't just us who wanted to play it.
My goodness. So we kind of walked around. They had a bunch of the games that they have at our local arcade. A couple. Obviously, they have a lot more, but like they had the Jurassic Park, and they had some other games. But I threw some money on the pinball. Played Walking Dead.
Yeah, I played Star Wars. I played Deadpool. I also played Guardians of the Galaxy, which is good.
Their Deadpool was set up wrong though. Like,
what do you mean?
The katana shot you shoot it to the right of the game, and it like has to hit a curve, and then it goes through pops up a ramp. And if your game's not level right, it clunks and it doesn't go up the ramp, and it was set up to be a little clunky. But we got to play a bunch of games, and it was good.
Yeah, I mean, they had Aerosmith there. They had a ton. They had a lot of really great games. That one I had only seen on like.
Oh, they had Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, not the Pirates of the Caribbean, but
they had the Stern game.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes.
And I think, did you play it?
No.
Oh, that's a pretty fun game.
Because I got super excited again when I saw that. I didn't scream "fuck" this time, but I got super excited again when I saw Pirates of the Caribbean. I was like, "Oh my God!" And then I went over there and I realized it was just the old one. I was like, "Oh, it still looks good. It doesn't not look good. It just
the ship moves when you hit. Oh, it's a good game.
I'm sure it is. I didn't play it though because it wasn't the one that fires the cannons back and forth, which is fine. I probably would have eventually played it, but I kept kind of keeping my eye out over on the Halo game, waiting for an opening.
So,
what was your favorite pinball machine that we played there?
At there?
Yeah, New York.
I put a bunch of money on Deadpool because I hadn't played it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a lot further than I normally did when I played it in the Twin
You
Cities.
did a really good job on that, actually.
Yeah, I almost got 3 balls locked in the katana. I got 2 of them in there, and then I kept bricking that shot. That shot is so hard. Another thing is the right orbit clunks super hard against the side rail because there's like no metal there. It's like part of the shooter lane.
Sure.
Oh, when you hear that noise, it just makes you think that the game sucks. But it's a fun game, and I was like able to fight like Sabretooth and Mystique and stuff, which I haven't never got that far before.
Which is really cool because it looks like you're playing a video game up on the DMD.
Yeah, so for you guys watching, it was probably sweet.
It was much better for us. That's one thing I noticed when I was playing the game versus watching the game. Watching the game, I almost think is almost just as entertaining. I think it probably actually is just as entertaining because you can see so much stuff. Whereas your head's down, all you're looking at is the pinball flying around. Whereas us, up in the DMD, there's a ton of really cool stuff going on, and you're missing out on all of it. Yeah.
Not a DMD, Steve.
What?
It's not a DMD.
What is it called?
It's an LCD screen.
Oh.
DMD's ended.
Good point.
With Ghostbusters.
Good point.
That's hard because Deadpool's good. That clunky shot really killed it for me.
What was the other game that you played a while?
I don't remember. Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah. You played Walking Dead a lot.
Well, on a side note, on my way down to the airport to fly out to Vegas, that Friday night, I went to my buddy's house south of the city, an hour south of the cities, and picked up a broken Joker poker.
Yep.
And I played tons of Walking Dead at his house, and he told me what to do.
Oh, so you knew how to do it.
And so all of a sudden the game made sense to me because I've never known how to play it. I just kind of shoot around.
Sure.
Then we played a lot of Iron Maiden.
Did his Walking Dead have all that blood all over it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has an LE though.
Okay.
So his is like super bloodied up.
Sure.
So
I thought it was kind of cool that the glass had so much blood on it.
That's a sticker. Like that's aftermarket.
Okay.
So I really like The Walking Dead now. Now that he showed me, he did really good on that game when we played together. I did pretty good. The best I've ever done because he told me what to do. So I had an idea. So now when I went and played at New York, I was like, okay, I kind of know what to do. So I kept putting money in. So I really like it. I want to play it. The hardest part is the stock sound is all voice actors, and it's bad. So there's like people who've done sound mods that they took cuts from the TV show, shoved them in there so that it sounds more like the real people on the show.
Sure.
Let's stop. I don't want to go down that path.
If you're going to make a game, use the characters' voices.
Here's the thing. It says AMC's The Walking Dead. They have pictures of them on the cabinet.
Yep.
But then
somebody else's voice is on there the whole entire time.
If you want to do non-people from the show, or you don't pay one person to do all the call-outs.
Sure.
Then just use the comic book version or something.
And honestly, it wouldn't have been hard to pay one person.
They did it with Star Trek. They did it with Ghostbusters.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. You don't have to have everyone in the cast. You only need one person, technically.
Yeah. It's very disappointing. But it is what it is. They did it with Game of Thrones as well.
I guess Lord of the Rings has more than just Gimli.
Oh, yeah. They kind of all have voices on it.
Yeah, I was thinking it was just Gimli.
Well, we finally got to play Halo.
Which I enjoyed it a lot. It's very arcadey. It's not as... I don't know why I was even expecting a story. Because there's not a story. It's just an arcade game, 4 players.
But you don't have to play 4.
You don't have to play 4. If somebody dies, the computer takes over for them. And the computer auto shoots for them. And they just kind of take care of their lane. Like, that's one thing I noticed about the game is even though there's 4 players...
And each player can shoot anywhere on the screen.
Right. The main thing that you have to worry about is in front of you. What's coming at you right in front of you. Because the other people, in theory, should be taking care of their ends. And if you're playing with the computer is taking care of its end. You don't really have to worry about those guys coming over to hurt you. You just focus on what's in front of you. Now, if you guys are all humans, then you might have to worry about something coming from the side and hurting you because they didn't cover their guy. But we, I guess as players, we're good. We did it. We did fine.
Are you kidding me? We kept dying.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on it. I don't understand your point. It's an arcade game. It's
true, but you couldn't even get through one kind of chapter.
We were getting slaughtered, but that's because they kept coming at us nonstop. I mean,
it definitely was set to like almost hard.
Yeah, they were taking our money.
You had
hand
to,
over fist.
You
for
had
sure.
to be crediting up again to make it through one.
But
chapter.
I don't think we could have done better. How's that sound?
You don't want?
I don't think we could have done a whole lot better.
I think we could have.
I thought we were doing really good, in my opinion.
People kept shooting in my lane. Get in your own lane. I'm taking care of my stuff.
That's because I took care of my lane. That's why I was shooting in your lane.
Up.
My lane's already covered. I'm going to help you cover your lane.
No, because then I'm over on your side because you guys were sucking it up over there.
We were helping each other out is what you were trying to say.
Teamwork at its best. Okay, so the look of the game is great.
Gorgeous.
It's huge. The 4 players.
Yeah,
huge.
Exactly. Just from the outside alone. Not the actual game itself. Just from the outside. The actual, what do you want to call it? The cabinet.
Yeah, I don't.
It's gorgeous. It's huge. It's eye-catching. It is the center of attention. That's for sure.
It's the biggest arcade game they had. And then they kind of split it so there's 2 TVs. They're angled to the 2 players on each side.
Mm-hmm.
And then above the 2 players where you sit is like part of a halo. Like it loops up.
Yep.
So you kind of get into the halo.
Yep.
And you have that big hand cannon.
Yep. Everything about it felt good. I liked how it shot. I liked the volume was pretty high.
It was way too loud.
I guess that would be my only complaint is they had it cranked up like a son of a gun.
And it almost was like the sound effects are too high, but you couldn't hear what people were saying.
Like the SFX was too high.
Yeah, the like talking volume of players in the game, couldn't hear shit.
One thing that was kind of cool was each one of the players, 1 through 4, were an actual specific character. They weren't just, just a faceless person.
Are they ODST people or?
Yeah. Okay. They were all ODSTs. They were created obviously just for the game. Another thing that you pointed out is if you have a cell phone and you scan, there's like a QR code on it somewhere. Yeah. You can get like
you link it to your Xbox Live account.
Yep, you can do that, which I thought was cool. I don't really know what it does because
it
we
gives you
do
achievements that are only done via that game.
Master Chief showed up in it, which I thought was
he kind of like swings in like a hero, saves you, and
blasts away,
kind of runs away.
Right, but it was
a cool like cameo.
Yeah, and he looks right at you, gives you like this nod, and then jumps off, whatever. I was like, that was cool. That was a good way to do it. I was very impressed with the game. I guess for some reason I was expecting more, but I had to kind of take a step back.
There's
and
kind
it's
of
an
a
arcade.
story. The hard part is there's kind of a story.
Yes.
And then when you pick a chapter, there's like a fan layout of them. So there's 6 or 8 chapters.
Yeah.
And some of them are locked. They're not in any sort of weird order. But like when you play one chapter, it didn't seem like it. Like you didn't really have to know a story. It just kind of throws you in like, get here, and then leave.
Right.
So it was kind of messed up.
I think that story-wise, if you're going to base a story off of something, I think that the one that we have in Duluth, Tomb Raider.
Adventure. Oh, yeah.
I think Tomb Raider has got a better story.
Oh, totally. I was not impressed with the story, although we only played. We kind of like took over.
We weren't there in the beginning, so we didn't get to see them. Because we took over somebody else's game.
Like we continued from their point.
Yeah.
I had a problem with the game.
Go on.
And maybe it's part of the settings, but like the game was ungodly hard. Okay, not a big deal. It felt really bland.
It probably was settings.
It was a really bland shooter. You get somewhere, there's always a big guy, a bunch of little dudes. The big guy's harder to kill.
Rinse and repeat.
You move a little bit, big guy, bunch of little guys. It was almost like very generic. And then you are forced to use a gun that you find or whatever.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you go from like a really good machine gun to a fucking handgun. A handgun? And there's a swarm of the big guys and bad little dudes.
And the handgun isn't good. It's that one really good gun from like Halo 1, but it's not good in this scenario because you're used to just holding on the trigger and just hosing enemies.
Oh.
And you have to pump it, and you're like, holy crap, I have to actually keep pulling this trigger? This is insane.
And then you have to reload, and you have to hit a reload button.
Yep.
So it's shoot, reload button, and then you have to wait for it to reload.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a unique thing because you have to plan accordingly to when you want to reload. You do have to plan
accordingly because that's usually when you die.
However, my goodness, that reload was maybe 3 times as long as the video game version.
But that's It might be exactly the same as the video game version, but I think what the big difference is in arcades, we're used to like shooting off screen and you're instantly reloaded. Do you know what I mean? Or you cock a gun.
You just cock it,
right?
And it's
instantly
very fast.
Correct.
I mean, it's a lot of work to keep sliding, but it's definitely fast.
But what's that other game? It's a Time Crisis where you just like shoot off screen and automatically reloads. And I think in Jurassic Park they don't even have reloading. I think it's just unlimited ammo.
I don't think so. It's awesome.
But so playing that, it was reloading is deadly. If you're reloading and you haven't timed it properly, you are gonna die.
And being forced to use some of these crappy guns sucked so bad.
Agreed.
And then you I don't know, like you got grenades, but you got one like every 10 minutes.
That did suck. No, you only got like one grenade per life or per level, and it was just like, I need more of these. I need you to start handing them out by the dozen at this point, because I get one grenade, and as soon as you use it, because you're thinking I'll get more. I'll get more.
That's why
they're gonna eventually give me more grenades.
Nope.
They just never give you grenades again. So you waste it on like 4 guys, and then you never get it again.
The potential's there. The brand is there. The gameplay
visuals
might be there. But it got a little boring to me.
I agree
and
with you.
only liked to continue playing it because of the experience.
I agree with you. I give it a lot more benefit of the doubt because it's Halo, because it's so good looking, because it feels good, it sounds good, everything about it is fun, but the gameplay is very rinse and repeat. Lots of little enemies, big enemies, and you know how to kill them because they're all pretty much exactly the same, even though they maybe mix
different.
up, whether it be the Flood or the Covenant. It's the same kind of waves coming at you over and over again. You just kind of change the environment every single time, so it isn't very unique once you're in it for a little bit.
I feel like they could have done something to make it better, but they were probably just trying to get it out.
Probably.
And if it's like Tomb Raider, they could have downloadable content.
I think this may be blasphemous because I like this game a lot. I really do. But I think that even Jurassic Park does a better job. And that's just hosing the sky, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not as good as Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is mint. I like Tomb Raider a lot.
That's a freaking experience.
Yeah, it is.
Well, maybe our local arcade will get a 2-player version, and we can kind of start from the beginning.
And honestly, I'm not saying it's a waste of money. It's totally worth your time. It's an arcade game. It's fun. It's just not as fun or as hyped. As much as I hyped it up in my head, like, again, I walked into the place and screamed fuck because I just thought, we finally are going to play this game. But it was kind of a letdown. Just because it was so rinse and repeat. It's just so
It's like
repetitive.
2018. I feel like they've learned. You had Time Crisis, you had Silent Scope, you had all these other games. Terminator 2 Salvation. That game didn't feel... Or not Terminator 2. Terminator was the big crazy one.
T2.
No, the new one that's down. Is it?
Oh,
it's Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, Salvation, yeah.
Not T2 Salvation. That game.
But I don't know. Salvation is very rinse and repeat as well. They just send waves at you.
Yeah, but at least you're moving around. I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's the same. It's probably just because you're holding the gun. They're physically holding the gun. But I feel like Salvation is just piles of enemies coming at you. And that's also way too hard of a game. You can't win Salvation. There's no way you could possibly win Salvation with like $10.
Why? Maybe it's because in Halo, it's just you see the same places and same bad guys as the video game, and so it seems
they do a pretty good job of using a large arsenal of enemies and stuff like that, but it is the same thing. Whether it be different enemies, it is the same thing happening over and over again.
Okay, yeah, so like the screen moves to a new spot, and then it's the same, literally the same with, like you said, the same type. Like this heavy guy jumps in, and then these little, what are these little guys called?
With grunts and stuff like that.
The grunts just, and it is. Where Tomb Raider, or not Tomb Raider, well, Tomb Raider also mixes it up with animals and other things, but like on Salvation, there's a mix of robots and flying things, and I mean, some of the fun parts of Halo were like shooting the planes down that came flying.
Yes.
But They make the same pattern in the sky every single time. Every plane makes the same pattern. It's very calculated.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying. There's no real randomness.
I think if I was younger, it would be much better because a younger mind lets a lot of this stuff fly.
Oh, sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, like the Ghostbusters game. To me, I could probably never touch that Ghostbusters ever again because I played it thoroughly enough that I know exactly how everything's going to be. I don't want to touch this game ever again. But nonetheless, my son wants to play this game nonstop because it doesn't matter if it's the same thing happening over and over again.
Oh, they like repeating things.
Yeah. Same with, like, TV shows. He'll watch the same TV show over and over and over again. The same episode.
Maybe we're getting too old and grumpy to play games.
I don't know. But either way, like, I think in that case, if you had maybe a younger mind, you would let a lot of this go. Even like, I'm not saying like a 4-year-old. I'm saying even like a 16 or 17-year-old mind, a lot of this would fly. Just like they do with like movies. They'll watch Transformers. They're not going to pick apart Transformers. They'll love Transformers. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
I used to watch the same movies when I was younger. So
right, or like Face Off. When I was young, Face Off was an A+ movie. As an older person, I don't want to crap on Face Off.
Steve, but Face Off.
Yeah. But with a critical mind, Face Off is kind of garbagey. But just, again, for those who like Face Off, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Just,
it was a good movie for its time.
For its time, yeah. Precisely.
All right, so Halo, definitely if you see it, try it. Make your own opinion. It's a good game, but it's just a little repeat, like, same thing over and over, but most arcade games are. Yeah.
Another good game that is an old game that I just never experienced was the Star Wars...
Oh, the Battle Pod.
The Battle Pods. No, they're not called Battle Pods. They're called...
Sled Storms.
No.
Pod Racing.
Pod Racing, yes. It was a great game. And it's an old game. Like... And it was broken. Like the game was old, beat up. The speakers were blown out. The graphics are from what year 2000? When did that stuff all come out?
When did N64? Because they have that game for 64.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Dreamcast too.
Yeah. So
yeah, 2000-ish.
Yeah. So it's game's probably been 20 years old, but nonetheless, they did a good job of dialing that game in to the point where even though I was looking at really old graphics and even though the speakers were blown out and all this different stuff, it felt awesome. They knew how to, like, because you're sitting in the pod and you're steering it with the two different levers and stuff like that.
Kind of like a Bobcat or whatever.
Yeah. And it feels so good and it's so dialed in so nicely that I was like, wow. If I was playing this game back in the year 2000, my mind would be blown right off. I don't even know what I'd be able to tell you about that game. But because as, a 20-year-old game, I thought it was good.
Did they have Cruise and Blast there? I think they did. No, they had a different one.
I don't think that they did.
I'm
They
surprised.
had some, I think, motorcycle games.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't have like Cruise and Blast or H2 Overdrive.
What they did have was that really trashy old Pirates game.
God.
And Joe, one of our coworkers, he had asked specifically about that game, and I thought he was maybe joking
Because you were ready to just shit on it.
I did shit on it because he was like, "Did they have that Pirates game?" And he's trying to describe it to me. I was like, "I know what game you're talking about."
And it's trash. And he loves
that game. He wanted to die on his sword for that game. He just kept going on. He's like, no, this game is amazing. I'm like, no, the cabinet is amazing. The game itself is garbage. And he's like, no, this game is awesome. He has a steering wheel in there. He's going on and on. He was just so excited about it.
I wish we had time to go back with him.
I know.
Because we were kind of planning on it.
He would have flipped his lid. He loved that game so much. And I was like, you're mad. You're so crazy. But whatever.
All right, so that
was New York, New York. And by the way, New York looks really cool. The actual casino looks awesome.
Skyline of New York.
Yeah. Looks great. Plus it has the roller coaster coming in and out of it.
So Tuesday rolls around. And I didn't make it to Stern's booth in the morning. I walked by before they were streaming, but I wasn't at their booth for the start of the stream. Because what happened was they released Munsters that morning.
Correct.
I think the booth opened at 10, but they did the live stream at 11 a.m. And they had Jack Danger there, and he was up in costume. He was Herman. Gary Stern, who owns Stern, was Grandpa. They had
I didn't know who that was.
I think his name is Zach. He was like a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a female employee kind of dressed up too.
Mm-hmm.
But we went kind of more toward lunch, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock.
I think it was like it was about 1 or 2 o'clock. I think it was 2 o'clock.
So me and you swung back there, and they were streaming the LE.
Mm-hmm.
I played
because the whole reason why Jack was even there in the first place is because they wanted basically to be streaming on Twitch the whole entire time. But
they streamed the whole day.
Yeah, they did.
It wasn't actually busy. You might have to wait for one person, but like we played the Beatles.
It wasn't mobbed, but I would say it was, okay, in my opinion, it was busy because the machines were always being used. But you're right. It wasn't like there was a line.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been there where we had to wait multiple people. But we played the Pro, and then I kept looking over at the stream setup and kind of worked around the booth the other way. And then I think I played the Premium, and then you had started talking to Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen Jack in person.
Mm-hmm.
He is way taller than I thought.
He is huge. He's ginormous.
Super cool guy. You actually were talking to him about a bunch of stuff.
Well, yeah, because you were talking with the guy who makes the VR setup.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Right. So we're actually going to try to probably get him on the podcast as well as Jack, for that matter, because we really hit it off with these guys, and we made it on to Jack's stream. We played.
Okay, so all of a sudden, I was talking with Mike from the Pinball Arcade. No, Farsight Studios. My bad. They make the Pinball Arcade.
Right.
I was talking to Mike. He's their like kind of PR person, social media guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then me, you, and him, the LE stream was just kind of dead. Well, I was standing. This is the best part. I'm standing behind Jack or whoever playing the game. And so I'm on the stream, and I kind of made myself get into the camera.
Sure.
Waiting to get on. Because I think Mikey had said, like, yeah, you can play.
It's like being on Good Morning America. You just keep creep onto the screen.
All of a sudden, I get a phone call from Chris, and I answer it. And he's like, kick those people off. So he was watching this. Somehow, Chris was watching the stream, saw my ass, calls me, and then so we get on and we play on the stream. It was kind of exciting.
Yeah, you and the other gentleman that we were playing with, Mike, I figured you guys would be significantly better than me. So as I was about to get on, because it was about to be my turn, I turned to Jack and I said, "Do you want to take my place and beat the crap out of these guys?" He's like, "No, I've been playing all day. The last thing I want to do is play right now. You go ahead and play." I'm like, "Fine. Do you have any tips?" He's like, "Yes. Here's the tip. All you do is you hammer Herman 3 times, and then you're going to be set off to a great start. If you can hit him 2 times, that will magnet lock the ball. And the 3rd time will hit that ball, and then you'll have a multi-ball. And then you just start flinging around and start banging away." I was like, "Is any other thing?" He's like, "No. Just hit Herman 3 times. After that, just swing away." It's like, "You got it." And I had a great first round. Huge first round.
Yeah, we were pretty pissed that your score was up.
Yeah. Then my next 2 rounds, I did pretty poorly. I think one of them I drained it almost immediately, and there was no ball save. So I was like,
there is no ball save on that game. And that's, like, legit stock.
Yeah. Either way, it's a really great game.
Holy moly.
So if anyone wants to know, Flippin' and Mashin was on Jack's stream for quite a while with hundreds of people watching. But anyways,
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
So the first day the stream was on the LE. We played the Pro, which has pretty much every single feature except the lower playfield. And the Premium is the black and white one, which, here's the best part. We are at the show.
Mm-hmm.
I see the Premium.
Mm-hmm.
Drop dead gorgeous. My favorite art package. It is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I want one.
Sure.
So most of the art is grayscale.
Yes.
There's a handful of little parts of color in the art, but then all the inserts are colored, and then the GI changes like white and green. Like if you hit Herman, the GI goes green.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely pops. It looks so good, black and white.
Speaking of which, if you're wondering about this, we have videos up on our Facebook page with this stuff. We have the live streams that we put on there, as well as an actual created video that we shot as well.
Yeah, and I'll give Steve the links to the high-res pictures on This Week in Pinball.
I'm actually, those are already being posted up as well. Right. Yeah.
So everybody on Pinside was freaking out. They're like,
how boring.
I don't want to pay less money for art that doesn't have color.
Right.
It's like, one, the TV show was black and white.
Sure.
Two, it's not black and white. Like, only two colors. It's grayscale. So there's a little bit of, there's a mix in there.
And I can understand their fear or their initial kickback to be like, this is grayscaled. Why would I want to buy this?
Yeah.
And it's because it looks stunning once the lights come on.
And the hard part is, all the pictures that they've probably seen
don't have the lights on.
Don't have the lights on.
Right. Or video with lights flickering and
I'm
stuff
looking
like that.
at the pictures of the colored Munsters, and I'm not really a fan of it.
No, everyone that we talked to, Jack agreed, everyone agreed that the middle grade level, what was the middle grade level called?
Premium.
That is the most fun game. It's the most fun game because one has the lower playfield, which the level 1 doesn't have. Whatever you call it, just the regular model.
Pro.
But the visuals, the black and white visuals with the incredible LEDs all over it is way, way better than the other two.
Oh.
In pretty much everyone's opinion, that was there.
I didn't notice that the LE had like the casket style look, which is cool, but again, so I got home and I ordered the Munsters TV set. Like, sure. It comes with the 2 seasons, so it's like over 60 episodes and then a couple movies of the original cast.
Oh, movies too?
Yeah, there's a couple like kind of made for TV movies. Okay. I just got that this last weekend. I've been watching the Munsters since I got home.
Oh, really?
Roku has a Munsters channel.
Oh.
So you can just watch it for free. But they don't have every episode.
Interesting.
So I got these DVDs, and I watched, on the DVDs, there's a couple colored episodes, like the pilot and then another one.
Huh.
The colored versions, to me, look like garbage. Because when it's the gray kind of black and white, you kind of
have your own imagination.
You have your own imagination of what shade of green they are and what things are supposed to look like. And when you see it for real, they're not really green. Because in my head, they're like green.
Right.
In reality, they're kind of like blue.
Oh, really?
And it just, oh.
Sure.
And so I'm looking at this LE. It's all right, but the spider web around the flipper button armor, the one at the show,
it looked cheesy.
Oh, it looked horrible. The gold that you see between the webs is a foil. It looks like a sticker was put on top of the metal.
Yeah. I'm not saying that is what happened, but that's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like, and I would not want to pay that much money for that. The speakers look good.
They do. That was the one thing I noticed about it. I was like, well, the speakers look bomb, and also like the backsplash, whatever you want to call it, with the cool like roadster, whatever you want to call it, like the hot rod. That looks cool. But still, if I was to throw money at something, it would definitely be the premium.
I really want the premium.
I love the lower playfield. Once you get down to that, the little tiny mini balls, the little tiny mini.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Lower playfield. The unique thing about this game is that the lower playfield flippers are separate buttons on each side of the game.
Yes, which I was confused about when I first started playing. I was like, why is there 4 buttons here? What's going on right now?
The thing is that this playfield is compared to the Stewie or Donkey playfield on Family Guy / Shrek.
And I understand that.
It has mini little flippers.
With a mini ball. Mini balls, because you can multi-ball.
Yeah, there's multi-ball down there. The balls are very light, so they kind of fly around.
Yep.
So a couple times, like the ball got on top of the flipper, you got to kind of wiggle the game or flip a bunch. The lower playfield, like I have an AC/DC Premium. Those are mini flippers with the normal ball, and that's pretty hard to shoot down there. But there's not much to shoot, right? There's an orbit in the face. This has like a full game below.
It does.
There's a vertical up kicker that shoots it to a wire form, and there's a ramp on the right, and in the middle there's an orbit shot, and then in the middle there's the organ you hit that kind of cashes it in. Well, you hit the shots, hit the organ, and then the multi-ball starts.
Right.
I've been thinking to myself, the Pro versus the Premium is almost $2,000. Is the black and white art that looks amazing, and the lower playfield worth $2,000?
Yes. The reason why. Here's the thing. I'm not paying for it. Let me just make that caveat right now. My machines are very cheap. There's a reason why I own the machines that I own. But if I was going to put money down on either having level 1 or level 2, it would definitely be level 2, the premium version, because there's so much more to the game. Having that extra layer, having that the lower playfield, I would never want to be not playing with it. It's you're missing out on a bunch of the game. It's like finding out, like, let's say you're going to play Destiny 1 now. It has tons and tons of DLC that's out there. Well, you're only going to play just the regular edition. Screw all the DLC.
That's what they did with the Blizzard activation thing, or Activision. Remember, what is Diablo on?
That's Blizzard.
What's their streaming service called?
It's called like Blizzard something, but yeah.
But they have Destiny on there.
Yeah.
And they had Destiny 2 for free, but it was just the standard game.
Which makes sense, because they're just trying to give you the taste of it. But yeah, if you have a bunch of, because especially right now, there's tons and tons of expansions. So if I just told you, all you're going to do is you're going to only play one, period. That's it. You're not going to play any DLCs. Well, it's just boring. But there's so much more content in this one. You need to have that lower playfield. Is it worth $2,000? Probably not. I mean,
that's my hard part.
Right, but at the same time, you're missing out on a full game. And if you're going to keep this forever in your house, by forever I mean like, a couple of years. But I mean, if you're going to keep this permanently in your house, I would want the full experience. So is the playfield, that lower playfield, worth $2,000? No, but is the full experience worth $2,000? I think yes.
Ooh, that's a good way to put it. I was listening to a podcast on the way to work, and they said, I think it was Dennis from the Eclectic Gamers. He said he likes to calculate back, and he's very methodical on his he's very
right.
He thinks about things, and it's calculated. So the difference between a Pro and a Premium, which the Pro is packed to hell, has every feature pretty much, but the lower playfield has the zap button and everything, all the ramps, even the ramp that pops up and has the monster. Their pet, that's in the Pro. I mean, it's packed.
Yeah,
and his whole thing was $2,000 to a Premium just for the lower playfield. I could buy another game.
Sure, and he's right.
Oh, totally.
$2,000 is an awful lot of money.
But my thing was, okay, I'll take a Pro. Give me a Pro, but I need black and white artwork.
Sure,
and that's not going to happen.
No. And maybe that's us being sticklers, but like I just said, I think that he's right. That tiny little playfield is not worth $2,000 when you could have a whole other machine. But at the same time, if this machine is a big deal to you, if Munsters is a big deal to you, I would want the full experience. And if that costs $2,000 more, then $2,000 more has to go down.
We gotta pause. I gotta pee. Okay, back.
So how does it play?
All right, so people complain about fan layouts.
What do you mean?
So if you look at the playfield, we have pictures up from This Week in Pinball. Playfield. So if you look, it's a fan layout, meaning at the back of the game, it's like left orbit, ramp, Herman, to the pops, Grandpa, Marilyn, right orbit. Kind of like it's fanned out, all the shots.
Sure.
It kind of has a similar Waterworld left shot where you like dump it in, kind of also where Medieval Madness's catapult is.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the right, you have the bank, the target bank here. What was the game that was clunky? I was trying to think. Was it Iron? There was a game from Stern recently that I just like would literally, maybe it was Deadpool, because like on the right orbit, you just always hit and brick.
That's what you were talking about earlier. Yeah.
I didn't feel like this was clunky. The orbit shot was smooth. The hardest shot I was having a hard time with was the Dragula shot on the left. I couldn't find it on the right flipper. Like, it's toward the tip of the flipper to really get it to that left shot. Metallica has the same thing with Fuel, the piston shot behind the fuel targets. And I just couldn't find it because I was hitting it for some reason. I needed it. Or I wanted to try for it.
Or it's either you were trying to try for it, maybe it was lit up and you needed to hit it.
But you're right. Like, hitting Herman, it's a cool bash toy, and he kind of moves back and forth.
Yep.
And then there's a ball lock, which is a magnet.
Which is the best part of it, because once it seals it and like grabs it, then you have to go hit it off the magnet.
Yeah, then the second ball shoots out.
Which is super cool.
And you have to hit it, and then 2-ball multi-ball starts. And that's a pretty easy mode to get going.
Right, it's just 3 hits.
And then the left ramp was fine. The right ramp didn't seem too hard. I didn't really shoot for it much. I shot for Grandpa a lot, which is the scoop. And that's for extra ball. And then that's also, when you have it lit, is Grandpa's laboratory, which is the lower playfield. Lily, you kind of just hit just from the slings, the ball bouncing around.
I thought that left scoop, you had to really power it up, because sometimes I'd go up and then come
the ramp.
Yeah, it'd come rolling right back down again.
Yeah, and I guess the hard part when you play on route or a place like that is you don't you're not given really clean power, and so you don't know if the flippers are weak or the game's not level, for instance.
I'm not saying that there was a really big issue, but I was saying I think I only got it up one time up there, and like 2 times
that you knew about. Right.
What?
Because I thought I saw you hit a handful, but like they were multi-ball.
Good point. Yeah, during multi-ball, I'm just trying to keep the balls out of from draining. So at that point, they're just flying everywhere.
I think I saw you. Somebody had the ramp lift up so you could shoot.
I don't know.
What's his name? Spot. His name is Spot.
I don't know. It's possible.
I saw someone do it, and I think it was you, because it lifted, and then I want to say if you hit a combo shot of a couple shots, then Spot lifts up, and you're supposed to hit him. And if you don't know or you're not looking up, you're not going to see it.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, once I had my multi-balls going on, literally pretty much anything on the upper play field could have been happening, and I wouldn't have even noticed, because I was just trying to keep all those balls from draining.
I did listen to an interview with Dwight, who programmed the game, and he's known for games like Star Wars and Game of Thrones for being... he really likes rules, and those games are really deep in their rule set and setting up to get big points and stuff. More for tournament players, but for casual or on route, those games may not do as well once you get past the theme.
Sure. Because
it's just kind of confusing.
Sure.
Like me personally, don't care for Star Wars. Game of Thrones, could care less. I haven't played each too much or had anybody really give me a breakdown on really what to do. But I'm not... It's almost too much for me, but I'm not a tournament player. As me and Chris have talked about before, it is good to have fun games. And Dwight said this was supposed to be a fun game.
Right. It is a fun game. It is. It's more of an arcade fun game. It's not a big, long story like your Lord of the Rings is or something like that.
Yeah, and he kind of explained it where there's not really modes. Like Lord of the Rings, where you start this movie, like 3 rings, and then the 3 rings, 3 movies, or get across the bridge, and then there's very specific shots. It's like you hit Herman because Herman said one more shot is multi-ball, and then you can just keep hitting everything else. Everything progresses as you're playing everything.
Yeah.
This was an absolute blast. I have no idea what the rule code set is. I know Jack Danger streamed that Thursday at Stern with Dwight, and I've been meaning to watch that. because they did break down kind of the rules. However, I went to my in-laws' house last night for dinner, and I haven't played AC/DC in a while, so I wanted to get some games on Lucy. And we walked downstairs, and he turns to me, and he goes, "Hey, you want to split Munsters?" And I thought he was joking.
Sure.
And he kind of looked serious, and I was like, "Yeah, it's less money for me to spend." And so I don't know. I don't know if he's serious or not. But he then asked me, well, because I said, well, you know, which one? There's a Pro, Premium, and he didn't. I don't know if he had even seen pictures or if he just kind of heard from what I was talking about with Nikki and my wife called him.
Mm-hmm.
But I just this morning sent him pictures of the games, and I got pricing from a distributor, and prices did go up from when I bought like Ghostbusters and stuff, but
sure,
it's still all right.
He might like the idea of it more than he likes actually shelling out money for it. That might be part of the situation right there.
Yeah, him and my wife used to watch the Munsters when they were little, or when she was little. He really thought that Herman was funny, so like he was kind of doing Herman's little wiggle laugh that night, which was pretty amusing.
Well, Herman was definitely just, you know, in the game itself, he's one of the biggest character on the playfield, and there's a lot of cutscenes that are on the LCD screen with him in it, like for instance when he's like trying to wash clothes and all this different stuff. They keep showing clips of Herman over and over again. He's definitely the highlight of the show.
He's the funny one, yeah. Kind of the dumb funny one,
right?
So I bought the movie set or the TV show, and I've been watching them literally. Sunday, my wife went shopping or something, and me and my daughter, who's just over 1, I forced her to watch them with me, and she actually decently watched. Like, she would play, but then look up and kind of watch for a while. And I don't remember. I remember the show as a kid, but I don't remember certain episodes and stuff.
Sure.
After watching, God, I've watched most of season 1. It's a really good show. Which I find odd.
Now, I haven't seen any episodes ever, so I don't know anything about it. This is all on you.
And
so I can't contribute to this story. Sorry.
you know in the '60s Batman TV show? Is it Commissioner Gordon? He's in the Munsters.
Okay.
So that I freaking cracked up when I saw his.
But
I heard his voice.
He's not playing as Commissioner.
Oh no.
Okay,
no.
yeah.
The Munsters is hilarious because it's really good. It is like the daily life of a random, like, normal family, but then they're just monsters, and they don't understand why people, like, freak out. But they make up excuses, right? Like, oh, everybody at the beach, there must be a sea monster or something coming. Or whatever. Or jellyfish. But I've been really enjoying the show, and so it makes me want the game even more.
Interesting.
But at least I understand a little bit more.
Well, no, that makes a lot of sense. See, for me, like, especially when there was all the talk about the Munsters coming out, I had no interest in it because I don't know anything about the theme. You know what I mean? Now, playing the game, I think it looks great. It feels good. It plays good. I just the theme-wise, before I played it, I didn't have any interest in it. That's all. But for you or someone like your wife or stuff like that, it makes total sense. They know what the characters are. They enjoy it. They think it's fun. Yeah.
I think it'll sell really well, but maybe not be as big of a blockbuster just because I don't know how big Munsters is nostalgic-wise with... It hits the demographic that buys pinball.
Sure.
For sure. The older than, me, old males. So, we'll see. I think it's a freaking hit on their hands, though.
Right.
They're definitely going to nail it out of the park this year with themes.
Also at Stern... was their second to newest game?
The Beatles.
And there was a lot more availability to play the Beatles. One, because people wanted to play the Munsters, and also there was more Beatles games available. And I just wanted to, I guess, apologize for my last review. I wouldn't say review, but I guess my first impressions of the game. I thought it looked boring. I thought it looked stupid. It was a single level game. Didn't have any ramps or anything on it. I don't really care for the Beatles. It's an old band to me. I didn't have any interest in the theme. I looked at the playfield and thought, how boring. But after playing the game, I loved it. I thought that Beatles was A+.
I thought it was hilarious that because I remember when you played it and you're like, oh, this game is amazing.
Yeah.
It's got 4 flippers. That's your first thing was like, 4 flippers means it's amazing, which is why you like roller disco.
It has 4 flippers, for one, which is cool. It has 2 magnets and a spinning disc that's magnetized in the middle. It has 4 poppers that are spaced out pretty good. And they're encapsulated in this like small ring.
Yeah.
So the ball, once it gets into those poppers, can just really fly around in there really good. Whereas normally you go over to like any other pinball machine, if it's got 3 poppers in there, it'll bang around real good, but then it'll just kind of come out. Whereas in here, since they're spaced and there's 4 of them, the popping is like the big deal. Get the ball into the poppers. That's where you're going to make your points.
There's only 3 poppers.
Oh, there's only 3. Sorry. But either way, because they're kind of spaced the way they are, and because they're in like a ring, it bangs off the ring and keeps going right back at them. It seems like that's like the highlight. Get the ball into the poppers. Plus, the 2 upper flippers, they can pass to each other. Well, the lower one can pass to the upper one. So you can like pass it up and then bang it into the poppers.
I guess what I liked is that from each of the upper flippers, you can make that upper orbit shot.
Yeah.
And that was fun to try to keep hitting it. And then, yeah, getting into the pops to knock those 1964 drop targets down.
I thought that the music was pretty good. Again, I'm not a fan of the Beatles, but they obviously picked some good songs. And
it's one of those things where it's one of those music games where you don't get to pick the song, but while you're playing, everything sounds really good.
No, it sounds great. All the what do they call them? When you bang the cymbals, yeah. All the shots would have like drum beats or cymbal snaps and stuff like that. So it was a really great sounding game, and I had a lot of fun playing it. I thought the magnets on it were awesome. Like, it goes around this big, huge orbit, and all of a sudden gets caught by the magnet, and then it drops it down into the poppers, or it's coming across the center of the play field, and then with the spinning record in the middle that's magnetized, it catches the ball and does a curveball on you, so you don't really know where it's going to come out, because you're expecting it to come down to maybe the left, and all of a sudden it comes down flinging out of, to the right, which you're not expecting.
Did you ever get, so on the left here, those 3 drops?
Yeah, I got them all.
FAB, and then you hit the target in the back?
Yep.
I think that's the jackpot shot as well.
Yep.
Oh, so you did get back there, okay.
Yeah, eventually, because I played the game actually quite a bit, because I
hard.
really enjoyed it, and because there was a lot of people playing the Munsters, and I kind of got used to the Munsters. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good game, it's a great game, but I just played it quite a bit, and I was like, I want to play more of the Beatles, because the Beatles was more of a shocker to me, because I had a very low opinion of it, a negative opinion of it, before playing it. And then I played it, and I had a positive opinion, so it was just such a huge contrast. I was already expecting Munsters to be good. I was not expecting Beatles to be good. So then when I played it, and I thought Beatles was awesome, I wanted to keep playing it.
Okay, so how did you feel after a handful of games in a row? Like, did it get repetitive at all?
I think so. Here's why. Like, you thought it was repetitive and got boring after a couple of plays. I think the reason why I enjoy it so much is because I have old ass machines, and my old ass machines are single levels. They don't, single playfield. They don't have any ramps or anything like that. Pretty much all I have is poppers and orbits and stuff like that. So this here was like a new version of my old machines, and they did a much better job with this new version than my older machines. So I was like, wow, this is what I want my old machines to be like. It was very colorful and bright and fun too. I would never pay the price tag.
I think that's the hardest thing I have, is that the price makes me not like the game.
Correct.
I had fun playing it. I really enjoy it.
I think the game is awesome. I really think the game is awesome.
Shoot's really good.
I think if the game was $3,000, it would be an appropriate price.
Well, if they could retheme this to be unlicensed,
if they made it a 30 Seconds to Mars game, I would give them the money. I would sell a car. I would sell a kid.
Why would
find the money?
Oh my goodness, they sound like Switchfoot. I thought you were listening to Switchfoot when I walked up to you.
That's fine. I'd buy a Switchfoot machine as well. But
I don't understand you. Not that Switch was bad. I mean, there was a point in my life where I listened to that stuff.
Yeah, no, I would.
I also didn't know that they were a religious band.
I would pay for both. I like them both. But yeah, if I could retheme this, make it a 30 Seconds to Mars game, I would. And it was only $3,000. I would shell out the money right now. If it was $6,000, it'd be too painful. Because that's what it is right now, right? $6,000.
No.
How much is it?
I think it's 8.
Shut your mouth. Is it really $8,000?
Let's see. Gold edition, which is more of a premium, is $8,000, and that's the low one.
That's the low one.
Yeah. Yeah. The entry level game is $8,000. It MSRP's at $79.99.
No, I would never ever think about paying that price tag. And I get that it costs a lot to create a new game, but no, that would never happen. As cool of as a game as I think it's a good game. I think it's vastly overpriced.
Think of that. So you can get a Munsters for low $5,000.
See, that's goofy. Is it because they're paying for the Beatles license? Is that why?
Yeah.
So people who that's what it is.
And here's the thing.
They're making a premium off of people who love the Beatles.
Well, yeah. It's also a Kapow title. So they partnered with Kapow, who does licensing for like slot machines, and like they did Batman 60. Kapow, they get the licensing for like 60s Batman, and then they team up with Stern, come out with the 60s Batman game.
Sure.
And that game was also priced crazy too. The Beatles, I think their licensing is super expensive, and so but they are also selling to collectors of Beatles memorabilia who probably have a bunch of money.
Right.
I mean, didn't Michael Jackson own most of the Beatles collection? Like, wasn't he the copyright owner?
Yeah, but he's the one-off. That's different.
No, I know, but like that's what I mean though. Is how much money do you think that was? That was a crazy amount of money to be able to buy that.
Mm-hmm.
So like if he was still alive, he'd be buying one of the diamonds at $10,000 or whatever. Mm-hmm. The Super LE Batman was a $15,000 game.
That's insane. That's insane for a pinball machine.
Mm-hmm.
$15,000. It blows my mind. No, whatever. But again, that's
sounds like you need to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it sounds like.
The hard part too I have is the price, and then it's a Sea Witch retheme. It's a Sea Witch upgrade and retheme. So they took an old Stern game.
So this game already exists out in the world.
An old version of it. They added the magnet.
With the magnet? Oh, so not with the magnets.
They added magnet. They added the spinner. They adjusted some of the orbit shots so that you could hit the orbits from both flippers. So yeah.
So it's very similar.
Yes, it's similar.
Now, here's the thing. Everything that you just said are major things. The reason why I like the game. I like the magnets. I like the way that they are able to shoot at the orbits like that. So if you took away all those things, I don't know if it'd be the same game. Of course, how much does it cost? Again, if we're going to go low ball, I'm going to throw money at a low ball. But
you want to know how much Sea Witch costs?
How much does that cost?
I think people are trying to sell those from like $2,000 to $5,000.
Then I'm not interested at all.
Let's see what Pinside even says. Estimated value $2,300 to $2,600. I think it's in your $3,000 range.
But that's what the new game, in my opinion, should cost. And
good luck having, and that's the thing.
Right, and I'm not. Again, I get it. I am not Stern. I am not making these games. But as a buyer, I don't see. Oh, you're right. That does look almost exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean,
and look at the orbits look almost the same.
Yep, there's a spinner here, but there's not a spinner up here.
It's a good looking game, to be honest. I would like to have that in my collection. At the same time, I'm not gonna pay $3,000 for that game, especially an old game like that. Either way, in my opinion, cool game, just overpriced.
Yeah, it was also surprising that. I mean, the nice thing, even if people don't like or will buy this, someone will, obviously, but it's nice to see there's people like Kapow getting licenses for games that Stern might not be able to get on their own.
Sure. And okay, so since we're down in Las Vegas and all this different stuff, and I've been in casinos a lot more recently, I see all of these cool licensed what do they call it? Slot machines. Every single time I see a really cool slot machine, I think they should turn that into a pinball or something like that, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was Ghostbusters.
Is there a Willy Wonka pinball machine?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because they have a really cool Willy Wonka
there's a rumor
slot
that
machine.
Jersey Jack has that license.
Oh really?
And Toy Story.
And Toy Story. Does Toy Story exist yet?
No.
Well, they should make one.
That's the rumor.
Okay.
I still want Harry Potter.
I hear you. All right.
So, okay. We're still in pinball. The Joker poker I picked up. Got it for a really good price, but it's a basket case. The condition's really good. I did see mouse poop on the playfield. But, like, the back glass looks mint. What's funny was I drove in my Jeep.
The back glass looks awesome. It looks really, really good.
Yeah. Better than Dragon, even.
Mm-hmm.
I drove down in my Jeep. I have a 4-door Wrangler. I put it in the back, thinking I could have the back seat up, one of them, on the 60-40 split. The 40 split would be up. So we had to carpool home. I had you and another coworker, and we had to rearrange the back because the head was too big for the seat to fold up, so we had to put the head on top of the game.
But it all fit perfectly.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
But, so my buddy that had it said, the small transformer smokes when you turn it on, so don't turn it on unless you figure out what's going on.
Right.
And knowing me, I can't pass up buying a pinball machine and a project, even though I have too many of them.
Right. Well, you got it next to nothing, so I understand why you got it. You can resell pieces and parts off of it that'll make just as much money or more than what you paid for it. I know that.
I know.
I'm just saying, it's your ace in the hole.
Yeah.
If all else fails,
it's just my backup plan.
Yeah, dump it for.
Supposedly, it's one of the best Gottlieb system ones. So I'm excited.
Okay.
But I'm not even going to set it up until Black Knight and Baywatch are done.
That's smart.
Because I don't need another project game that I'm going to be monkeying with. And
you're close to getting both those done.
Actually, yeah. So, I have that LISY board that I built. And so that is, I bought it because I knew I was going to go into Joker Poker. I have my Baywatch had a arcade power supply hacked in it because the 5-volt line went out in the power supply board.
Right.
So I'm going to steal that power supply, put it in Joker Poker to replace the small transformer.
Okay.
And then I'll be able to, I had to order LED displays for Joker Poker.
Right.
But the guy who designed the LISY board.
And is that because that's because we have a different power source. We need to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they use 69 volts to do the displays.
Sure.
And I don't have that anymore.
Gotcha.
So I need to do LED, which take 12.
Gotcha.
He said he's also working on RGB displays for the numbers, scores. So you'd be able to
working on them, but when do those come out?
He's designing them. I don't know, but he's designing color changing ones, or you can pick a color. Mm-hmm. That is bomb ass amazing.
I'd like to put those in roller disco.
Oh my god, you could have purple.
Yep, that'd be perfect.
Mm-hmm. What if you could have him scroll through the colors?
That'd be even better. That'd be even better yet.
I'd joke
with scrolling LEDs under the playfield at the same time. It'd be epic.
You can't get rid of that game now.
Well, apparently I can because, I guess in theory I could sell it wholesale, or not wholesale, whatever. Just sell the whole game. I wanted to get into the bar, so I was very frustrated last weekend. I finished up. By finished up, I mean I thought I was finished up. Both roller disco. I soldered up a brand new board.
Yeah, you bought the LASOI 1.
Right.
I got you the bomb from DigiKey. You soldered it up.
Yep. The game has already been cleaned up, fixed, ready to fly. I just needed a new board, and that was going to top it off. We already have CoinVex in it. Just pop this baby in there, and we are done. Well, in my head I was done. So I moved over to the next game, Dragon. Got that baby all cleaned up, put all brand new LEDs in it, have the CoinMex. This thing is done. Except Turned on Dragon, and Dragon does not start up.
It starts up.
Okay, the lights turn on.
Everything, the displays and stuff just stay at 0.
The game does not start. And it did until I took all the light bulbs out, put all the new light bulbs in, and now it won't start. So we think the issue is that there's not enough pull on the power. Correct?
Yeah. Well, there's just probably a discrepancy in... also, I was going to say discrepancy in the power supply board. Also, none of the ground mods were done. This game is literally stock. And there's a handful of grounding mods that had to be done for pretty much each board has to have its own ground strap made. And those weren't done. So,
but at the same time, I mean, this game worked fully until I cleaned it up. And by cleaning it up, I didn't pull anything apart. I guess I pulled plastic pieces off and put the plastic pieces all back on, replaced all the bulbs, so it's all clean and nice looking, but I didn't unwire anything.
I don't know, man, but now that the LEDs are such less voltage, I don't know.
I know. It's a lot of bulbs, so I almost want to go back and put all the bulbs back in just to find out.
So Clay, there's a guy named Clay, he made a bunch of like troubleshooting and repair guides.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to go through, and just like we did with Roller Disco, is troubleshoot from the transformer up to the power supply unit and make sure that it's outputting enough. And because at the same time, that board's old.
Yep.
It probably needs that rebuild kit.
Yep.
And then also, your CPU board has the stock battery on it. We got to get that cut and replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if the interconnect harness from the CPU to the driver board doesn't have that added ground mod on it, we got to do that too.
There's some options.
There's a bunch of things we need to check before you throw your hands up in the air and start claiming that it's the worst game ever.
I'm not saying it's the worst game ever.
Oh, shh. That's what you said.
Nope.
I don't care. I'm making that.
Nope. And then the issue with over at Roller Disco is even with the new board in it, it's set to default, which would mean I would need to put in quarters to make the game actually start. But it's somehow, oddly enough, still on free play. And I don't know why.
I troubleshot that a little bit when you first got it. I can't figure it out.
Right.
Dragon has the coin mech wires cut, and they're kind of just taped together, so it's
correct.
It's always at like 99 credits, but Roller Disco, everything's intact.
Yeah. It's goofy.
I've verified the coin door wire. I can't figure out how it's still on,
right.
unless they wired something at to the left of the transformers, kind of like some fuse wiring and stuff. And I want to say there was a free play mod where you jumped a couple wires down there.
It's possible,
but I checked, I thought, and I can't find it. So
it's frustrating because I wanted to, because we got this all wrapped up on in my head. I thought I had everything all wrapped up on Friday. And then that weekend, I can put both games into the bar and start making money off of
You were
both.
bragging to me that you were going to have games at the bar before
I was bragging because I had, my thumbs underneath my suspenders thinking I was just strutting out the door with both machines ready to fly and start pouring in money because I was making millions of dollars off of both machines. And instead, neither one of them can go into the bar because even though Roller Disco is playing just fine, there's no reason for anyone to put any quarters in because it's free to play. So they can put in a couple quarters until they figure out that this game is actually free, and then no one will make any more money off of it after that. So and I even thought about that. I was like, well, if I just put it in there, and it says 25 cents on it or 50 cents, I'll might as well say 50 cents on it because I can put whatever price tag I want on it since it doesn't really matter since it's free to play. It's $1 a play.
Don't do that.
Either way, but as soon as they figure out that it's free, then they'll dry that up.
Yeah. Black Knight, I tore everything down. I started putting stuff back on, and then all of a sudden my right flippers stopped working.
Yeah.
Once I got everything on, like I tested it. And the number 3 on the sword LED won't light up. I don't know if it's the bulb or I just gotta try swapping it. But I troubleshot Dark Knight and Black Knight, and oh my god, I forgot a multimeter and I didn't find one until I left for work. And So I came here yesterday, and I spent some time on it, and I found out that the pin off the power supply to the connector that runs the power to that flipper set wasn't touching. So power wasn't being sent to the flippers.
Interesting.
Because what I did was I posted up in the thread.
Did it look like it or no?
I don't know. You can't see it, right?
Oh, you
it's
can't.
It's a Molex plug.
Sure.
So I Googled it, and someone else had a similar problem, and I was reading his old thread, and it said, it's a little bit, this is the hard part too, is that this is a System 7 from Williams. I'm unfamiliar. It's my first System 7 game.
Sure.
But ground is from one side of the game and power's from the other. So it's not like the new games where they're with a, hang on. Like a transistor doesn't drive the flipper. So they said, check the ground. If it's not ground, it's power.
Mm-hmm.
So what they said was, start a game, see if your magnet on that works, because the magnet runs on the power of the flippers as well. So they share left and right.
Okay.
So the left flippers share the magnet and the power, and the right does with its own. So I tested that. The power didn't work at the magnet either. So I knew there was something with the power line.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday I got the multimeter and I was testing continuity at the flipper to itself, then to the next part back. So like flipper to flipper continuity was working. And then I worked even further back to like the first harness plug at the bottom underneath the head. And that worked. So then I was moving from that harness plug to the board set.
Mm-hmm.
And how I figured it out was I unplugged the Molex from the power supply, and I'm looking at it, and I poked in kind of where it would plug onto the board, and there's no beep. I'm moving the left flipper, no problem. Then I start looking at it, and that pin is all jacked up inside. So it has probably been that way for a while, and it was just barely enough. So I ordered a new Molex, I ordered new pins, and I'll repin it.
So when you texted me the other day saying you figured out the problem, you just figured it out. You didn't fix it yet.
Correct.
Gotcha.
It is not fixed.
Gotcha.
But this means that I can put together, I can put the plastics and the ramps and stuff back on.
Gotcha.
Because it should work now.
All right.
Oh. And I also had to put those new coils in because I had like 50 volt coils on the right, and I had to order those. I think they're like 28 or 30 volt. So now the flippers will actually have normal power because you couldn't even make it up a ramp with the old ones. And then Baywatch, like as I was said, I was unhacking the 5 volt power. And so I have a couple questions into the thread on the pin side because there's a CN5 plug on the power supply board that only had 5 volt and ground, but it looped. And so I think it looped to both plugs that power the DMD display. And so I'm just waiting on that. And otherwise I just gotta kind of splice a bunch of wires that were cut.
Makes sense.
And then Baywatch, in theory, can be powered on, which is really fucking scary.
Scary? You mean awesome?
Well, it's scary because, like, how hacked it was, and now I unhacked it, and we're going to power it on, and I don't know if it's going to work. But it should? Question mark. But I'm really excited to play that game because it is packed with crap.
That's great. That's awesome.
So that's a good show to catch up, trip report, and kind of update on our projects. And we should probably record another one while we're with I'm with Chris because I'm assuming you can't go this weekend.
Right. I just want to tag on one more thing. I've been playing a lot of Nintendo Switch with my son recently. I got the new Mario game for Nintendo. Well, it's the old Mario game, but it's new to Nintendo Switch.
You got the new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Correct. And he's dove headfirst into it because he can play. This one thing that they do really good with the Switch is they make like a Kirby game and they make like this Mario game that's good for younger kids that are just learning how to play video games. So he can play as like this rabbit character because he can play as Mario, Luigi, Toad. Yeah, Nabbit. Nabbit is from what? I'm assuming Rabbids?
I don't know.
Okay. He looks like
he has a little money bag and
yeah, he looks like he belongs from like the Rabbids games or whatever. But anyways, he's technically invincible when it comes to like people trying to like hurt him, like a mushroom or something like that.
Run through it.
Right. But lava still hurts him, falls still hurt him. So like his bane is like, what do they call them? Jump puzzles and stuff like that. Those can be a problem. But with his help, the two of us are making it through the game really good. And he's been actually very helpful, which is surprising to me. Like, I thought I was going to have to carry him the whole entire time or just be stuck and never get anything done. But with his help, like if there was a problem area that's got like a lot of bad guys in it, I'll just send him in. He'll kill them all, and then I'll just get us through like the jump puzzles really easily. And either way, I've been having a blast playing with him, and this is the kind of the moment that I've been waiting for, being able to play with my son, being able to play video games with my son, and actually enjoy it.
I thought you were getting mad because part of the new Super Mario Brothers is like there's some competition, so like you can pick people up and like chuck them down a pit and then go get your.
We're not doing that.
Oh,
what do you mean? No, I guess I didn't know that was a thing. You can pick people up and just throw them off the edge.
Yeah.
Well, he's never done that to me, and I've never done that. No, we have knocked each other off by accident, not on purpose. Or like I will knock him off by accident. Like we're both trying to jump up onto something, and I'm jumping a little bit higher than he is, so he hits my feet and falls to his death, and he's just livid. But I love watching him rage because I'm used to myself being the only person in the world.
Is he like a mini Steve?
He's like a mini Steve.
No, because you're just really angry.
He's like a mini Steve, and I enjoy it. It makes me happy to see him rage or freak out when it comes to like dying or something like that. Or he's like falling and he's trying to like jump as fast as possible to bounce off the walls to keep himself from falling into the pit. So he's like, ah! And it's so fun watching him freak out, trying to stay alive. And then he's just laughing. We're having a great time, and that's something I want to say thank you to Nintendo for being able to bring to a younger crowd. I mean, he's
Do you have Mario Kart?
Yeah, I have Mario Kart, but it hasn't been a real big hit in my house.
Well, maybe he's still young, but it has that auto steering and auto driving.
Right, it does. Agreed. And we have that on for him. We tried to play that this weekend, but at least I guess I tried to play it this weekend to see if I could get him into it. But we mainly just played Mario. We played a lot of Kirby together.
Yeah, Kirby's a really good one.
It's a great game. These are great games to play together.
Did you look at Mario Party?
No.
That'd be a fun one too. It's more of like a interactive board game.
Okay.
Because then it doesn't matter. I don't know if it matters how old he is, but like,
sure,
it's kind of like mini games. And
I'll have to check it out. But either way, this is the perfect system. It's become more perfect as time has moved on. Like when I first got it, I loved it for all of its unique technical or tech value, like the fact that it could do all these amazing things. Like for instance, this weekend we just brought it around with us wherever we went. We didn't just play it at home. We played it elsewhere. We just took off the controllers and we were playing Mario right wherever we were. It was fun. But also because of the games and the way that they target a younger generation.
Well, at least they allow a younger
Correct.
or an inexperienced person to at least enjoy it.
Good point.
With multiplayer.
Correct.
That's one of the best features that I like about Nintendo too, and why I have leaned more toward Nintendo than like even my Xbox doesn't get turned on.
Right. I think today consider myself to be an Xbox gamer, even though I have not turned on my Xbox in probably a month and a half. If that's insane. I mean, I mainly am just a mobile and Nintendo gamer, but I still consider myself to be an Xbox gamer.
That's because you pay that live.
I do. I keep handing them money every single month. That's
so
for sure.
that you pay so much for that Xbox Live that you have to be considered an Xbox gamer.
That's true. But all right, I think that's it for today. Unless you have anything more to add.
No, I got more stuff to fix.
All right. Well, then we'll wrap it up right there. If you guys want to see anything about the Munsters or see any of the videos that we created with the Munsters on there, we have it all on our Facebook page. Just go and search for Flippin' and Mashing. You'll find us on there. Again, we're also, podcast-wise, we are on every single possibility you can find us on. We are on Spotify. We are on anything that you like to listen to. We're there.
We're even on Sega Genesis.
Yep. If that was a thing. All right. You guys have a great day.
Adios, amigo.